Welcome to News Mongolia, where we bring you the latest stories and updates from across the nation and beyond. I'm Batsir Namshir. On the News Mongolia today, the Let's Read More book festival was held at Sukhbaatar Square. Gender stereotypes persist in modern workplaces. Art of the Mongol World exhibition to be organized in collaboration with London's Royal Academy of Arts. For the news, stay tuned. The annual Let's Read More book festival took place at Sukhbaatar Square on September 13 through 15th, organized by the Culture World of Books NGO. This year's festival was held under the auspices of President of Mongolia, Khurelsukh.
President Khurelsukh launched the Good Friend of Books campaign to foster a culture of reading. The head of the Office of the President, Shatter, officially opened the festival. He emphasized the event's role in promoting reading habits, particularly among children and youth, and encouraging personal growth and development. He highlighted that writers, creators, and cultural activists are at the forefront of this effort. More than 500 local writers and publishers took part in the three-day festival, along with representatives from Russia, China, Korea, and Poland. I lack self-confidence, so to become braver, I'm looking at the book Sisters, a book about bravery. They like comic books. We try to reduce their screen time, so we buy interesting books in English and Mongolian. I bought a series of comics that they like. My kids read comics about Genghis Khan, so I bought a new series. I try to buy books about things they are interested in.
Compared to previous festivals, I've noticed that parents pay more attention to selection of books. They ask a lot about the categories of books, whether they are suitable for children.
Festival attendees enjoyed exhibitions, contests, book launches, presentations, and meetings between readers and writers. One highlight was the Wise Book Awards, with trophies presented to recognize and support outstanding writers and publishers. A 12-volume history of Mongolia was launched during the event, published under the President's patronage. Under Presidential Decree No. 158 of 2012 and the Law on Publicly Celebrated Holidays and Memorial Days, National Book Days is observed annually on the third weekends of May and September. The Spring and Autumn Book Festivals draw over 240,000 visitors on average.
Despite significant progress in gender equality, persistent stereotypes continue to hinder women's opportunities in the workplace. Gender biases, deeply rooted in societal norms, shape perceptions of leadership abilities, communication styles, and roles, disproportionately affecting women across industries.
Research reveals that women are often perceived as less competent in traditionally male-dominated fields such as technology, finance, and engineering. Men, on the other hand, face stereotypes about performance in caregiving roles in industries like nursing and teaching, limiting their access to career options that defy norms. According to the latest research, the number of women in leadership positions is still low. There is a stereotype that men are more competent, strong, and responsible in certain sectors, while women are considered suitable for the role of caregiver, mother, and so on. During the event, we try to educate people about common gender stereotypes. For example, women have to rest at home during their maternity leave, while men can continue working and have a career. The gender pay gap remains a glaring issue, with women earning less than men for the same roles in many sectors. Women are often overlooked for leadership positions, with only a small percentage occupying executive roles despite equal or higher qualifications.
Now let's turn our attention to Mongolia's current affairs.
The Art of the Mongol World exhibition, showcasing a unique collection of artwork influenced by the Mongolian Empire and preserved around the globe, will be held at the prestigious Royal Academy of Arts in London. Following the signing of a Memorandum of Understanding with the Royal Academy last November, the Culture and Arts Agency of the Government of Mongolia has formalized a cooperation agreement to organize this significant event. With a history spanning 250 years, the Royal Academy of Arts attracts 1.2 million visitors annually and is renowned for hosting the world's largest fine art exhibitions. Art of the Mongol World will be on view in London for 3 months, highlighting the artistic heritage of the Mongolian Empire. The exhibition will be a landmark event for elevating Mongolia's profile on the global stage through the power of art and culture.
Now let's take a look at the currency exchange rates provided by Mongol Bank. Now let's take a look at international news from our partner agencies. China and Russia conducted joint military drills in the waters and airspace of the Sea of Japan from September 11th to 15th, Chinese state broadcaster CCTV reported on Sunday. It said the drills, which have been named Northern Interaction 2024, aim to deepen strategic cooperation between the two sides and strengthen their ability to respond to security threats.
Drills will continue in the Sea of Okhotsk later this month. According to a statement by China's Ministry of Defense, the Chinese Navy will also participate in Russia's Ocean 2024 strategic exercise. Russia's exercise spans the Pacific and Arctic Oceans, the Mediterranean, Caspian, and Baltic Seas, and involves over 400 warships, submarines, and support vessels, more than 120 planes and helicopters, and over 90,000 troops. According to CCTV, the Chinese fleet is composed of troops drawn from the Navy of the Northern Theater Command, including the guided missile destroyers Xinin and Wuxi, the guided missile frigate Lini, the comprehensive replenishment ship Taihu, and 3 shipborne helicopters. Through joint exercises, Russia has sought Chinese help in achieving its long-cherished aim of becoming a Pacific power, while Moscow has backed China's territorial claims in the South China Sea and elsewhere.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said on Sunday that Israel is in a multi-front battle against Iran's axis of evil after a missile fired by Yemen's Iran-backed Houthi rebels landed in an open area in central Israel early Sunday.
We are in a multi-front battle against Iran's axis of evil that strives to destroy us. This morning, the Houthis launched a surface-to-surface missile from Yemen into our territory. They should have known by now that we exact a heavy price for any attempt to harm us. Those who need a reminder in this matter are invited to visit the port of Hodeidah. Anyone who attacks us will not escape from our arms. Hamas is already learning this in our determined action that will lead to its destruction and the release of all our hostages.
The missile triggered air raid sirens at its international airport in the latest reverberation from the nearly year-long Israel-Hamas war. The Yemeni rebels have repeatedly fired drones and missiles toward Israel since the start of the war, but nearly all of them have been intercepted over the Red Sea. Notably, the Red Sea crisis began on October 19, 2023, when the Iran-backed Houthi movement in Yemen launched missiles and armed drones at Israel, demanding an end to the invasion of the Gaza Strip. The Houthis have since seized and launched aerial attacks against dozens of merchant and naval vessels in the Red Sea, drawing hundreds of airstrikes on missile sites and other targets by U.S. and allied forces. The crisis is linked to the Israel-Hamas war that started on October 7, 2023, when Hamas-led armed groups committed numerous war crimes and crimes against humanity against civilians.
A billionaire spacewalker returned to Earth with his crew on Sunday, ending a 5-day trip that lifted them higher than anyone has traveled since NASA's moonwalkers.
Now, the recovery team...
SpaceX capsule splashed down in the Gulf of Mexico near Florida's Dry Tortugas in the pre-dawn darkness, carrying tech entrepreneur Jared Isaacman, two SpaceX engineers and former Air Force Thunderbird pilot. They pulled off the first private spacewalk while orbiting nearly 460 miles or 740 kilometers above Earth, higher than the International Space Station and Hubble Space Telescope. Their spacecraft hit a peak altitude of 875 miles, equal to 1,408 kilometers following Tuesday's liftoff. Isaacman became only the 264th person to perform a spacewalk since the former Soviet Union scored the first in 1965 and SpaceX Sarah Gillis the 265th. Until now, all spacewalks were done by professional astronauts. Where our mission complete, Isaacman radioed as the capsule bobbed in the water, awaiting the recovery team. It was the first time SpaceX aimed for a splashdown near the Dry Tortugas, a cluster of islands 70 miles west of Key West. To celebrate the new location, SpaceX employees brought a big green turtle balloon to mission control at company headquarters in Hawthorne, California. The company usually targets closer to the Florida coast, but 2 weeks of poor weather forecast prompted SpaceX to look elsewhere.
Now let's take a look at the weather forecast for Mongolia and the world major cities. Well, that's all for today. Thank you for staying with us. We'll see you tomorrow with more news and updates. Goodbye.